Good morning, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good day, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, without further ado, let's get into the news this Saturday morning. And every day that I see Kari Lake out there in front of the cameras working against the Democrat Party, working against the media, continuing to fight for the people, who she is looking for to vote for her to lead that state, and Arizona to more and more, I'm convinced she is the right leader for the state of Arizona, as the way as she continues to, deliver facts in every turn, the way the liberal press treats her, the way that her opponent continues to run and hide from her because of how bad her record is, and how bad the media will continue to cover for her. Kari Lake doesn't take names and numbers. She sits there and calls them out live on television. And that's why I really enjoy covering Kari Lake at the moment right now, what she's currently doing out in Arizona, and hopefully, the people of Arizona realize that they actually have a real fighter that's on this ticket, somebody that's willing to lead for all the people of Arizona, and not just for a select few like Katie Hobbs once. And here we have yesterday, they were supposed to have a debate. However, Katie Hobbs once again had to decided to cancel, because she cannot be on the same stage as Kari Lake because she's scared of her. And so Kari Lake decided to go ahead and hold a press conference in front of the Arizona State University, where PBS continues to shield her along with other mainstream media outlets, people like CNN and MSNBC, as she calls them out for good measure as well. Let's take a listen to how Kari Lake takes care of the liberal media press. Everyone listen to this, she said. I think I know the real reason she doesn't want to appear. And I think you guys all know we sent that where the checks, guys. These checks behind me are an indicator of what Katie Hobbs has already cost the state. It's going to be about $3 million that you and I are paying for the taxpayers of Arizona, because she's a twice convicted racist who paid women of color in her office $30,000 less than she paid white men doing the exact same job. These are checks that have already been paid out. More is to come. She's already cost us dearly. We found out this week that when she was in high school, that's where her racism began. When she started an outrageous slave auction at her high school. Her yearbook shows this. We've got a racist running against me, and you guys are running cover for her. She tried to bribe to Lavanya Adams out of not speaking to the press. And that story didn't get any coverage by you guys. I never saw a headline on that. Let me tell you, if the roles were reversed, and I have this hideous of a background, you guys should be covering it nonstop. Shame on you for not covering Katie Hobbs the way she is. Katie Hobbs obviously hates people of color. Her past proves that. Why are you not covering that story? Why? I'm asking for the people of Arizona. She's against families being able to take their kids to a better school. This hurts our minority communities. Every student in this state deserves to have the best education. And with ESA for all, they will be able to get that Katie Hobbs spot, that she has a voting record that supported the rioters who burned down our cities and communities. Her voting record shows she opposed a border wall. She opposed a virtual border wall. She was opposed to asking the federal government to reimburse Arizona for the cost of our open border. And she's voted against the Border Strike Task Force. What is wrong with this woman? She's working against the people of Arizona. She wants to defund the police. She's voted to double our gas tax from 18 cents to 36 cents. She put out a plan to help us with inflation. That is a joke. And I noticed it got wall-to-wall coverage from you guys. She wants to lower taxes on a few items, diapers and feminine hygiene products. And that got a lot of coverage from you. We are planning to cut all of the food tax and cut all of the rent tax to help all Arizonans. We're going to be sending $500 million back into the pockets of hardworking Arizonans. I'm not sure that got much coverage. But I think it's about time you start doing your job covering who this woman is. She's a coward who has no chance to be a great governor in this state. Okay, absolutely. And of course Kari Lake once again nails it and exposes the press for who they are. And I know many of you guys already know the press are Democrats who run cover for Democrats, but it's nice to be able to show this contrast to maybe your normie friends out there. So if you have a friend who might be on the fence of voting for Katie Hobbs, I don't know why that would even be a thing in somebody's head. But if they're thinking about voting for Katie Hobbs, they're not sure, maybe show a couple videos of Kari Lake, and what she's doing and in what she's willing to do, and how the coverage is so skewed. Okay, folks, John Durham is on fire. And he has singled out one of the treasonous traitors, rat basters and FBI official. I'm gonna give you his name, what he did and who he is and what John Durham is doing to him. Foxa reported of Russian analysts who played a major role in the creation of a flawed dossier, or a fake dossier about President Trump, fabricated one of his own sources and concealed the identity of another one. Interviewed by the FBI prosecutor said this week, the allegations were aired in opening statements and the jury trial of Igor Danchenko, who was indicted on 5 counts of making false statements to the FBI. The FBI interviewed the Schenk on multiple occasions in 2017, as it tried to corroborate allegations and what became known as the Steele dossier, not just tried to corroborate but actually tried to pay him $1 million if he could corroborate his own claims, and he couldn't do it. I've been criticizing the FBI, rightfully so, for using our money or being willing to use our money. But though ideally out that highly doubt that. Alright, so here is the agent, his name is Brian Orton. He's a shady operative. What does he be involved in? Or recently, he ran the raid of President Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago. But that's not it. If you go back, he also was part of the cover-up. And now he's getting caught in all of this. Let me report this to you. Several people are covering this, actually doing pretty good coverage of it. Let's start off with the Washington Post. Whether or not an FBI counterintelligence official testified he was rattled when he learned he might be in the crosshairs of special counsel John Durham's team, as it investigated the Bureau's 2016 probe of links between Trump's presidential campaign and Russia, which we now know and we knew back then was a hoax. An FBI counterintelligence official is rattled. Or he was routed when he learned that he might be in the crosshairs. Why would he worry about that? Oh, was he on the stand? Yes. As a witness. That's what makes us even more interesting. Brian O.T. the FBI official who supervised intelligence analysts in the 2016 Crossfire Hurricane investigation, said it was scary when he was told he was a subject rather than a mere witness in the case, which could mean potential exposure to criminal charges. That's right. He put him up on the stand as a witness, is what they call a hostile witness, witness who is testifying, but it's not friendly to what the prosecutors are trying to accomplish. This is some pretty interesting stuff, folks. I wish we had this to watch. But no, we get O.J. Simpson trials in the fake January 6 committee hearings. I testified in federal court in Alexandria, Virginia for a second day in the trial of Igor Danchenko, a private researcher based in Washington, D.C. Lincoln was hired by former British spy Christopher Steele to gather information, eventually wound up in the fake Steele dossier. Danchenko was indicted on charges of lying to the FBI. A 22-year-old federal prosecutor pointed out that Durham is treating often like a hostile witness suspected of being a county conspirator. A 22-year federal prosecutor did that. Brian Odness, Durham's first witness in this case, Igor Danchenko as a defendant. Durham is handling OT in himself and treating him the way you would a hostile witness suspected of being a county conspirator. Durham is doing this himself, making the guy sweat and crushing him. Now, Teresa Brooke, a SIP from the Citizen Journal or a citizen journalist. She was in a room for day 2 and she said that Durham is on fire. This is why she has to report. Durham says Crossfire Hurricane was under close scrutiny by Inspector General's office and talks about Orton's poor conduct and report in respect to larger picture, including moments characterize an investigation on Carter Page, which Durham says has caused issues within the FBI. So sure sounds like drones going after him. He's going, hey, you're the witness here. But even the FBI has issues with you. Term says too often is it true you are pending possible suspension for conduct. Durham asserts that didn't only become a subject of the investigation because of being involved with Crossfire Hurricane, but because of his conduct and having an investigation on a Carter Page and other matters. This guy's deep state as they come. He was also accused by whistleblowers of being the one to discredit stories about Hunter Biden during the 2020 election. We have Durham going after and spooking a Hunter Biden cover-up or treasonous traitor as rat FBI bastard, total deep state. He was an intelligence analyst behind the FBI's Box Trump-Russia collusion probe and is now accused of using the Bureau's authority to do your credit reports about Hunter Biden's criminal activities months before the 2020 presidential election. By the way, whistleblowers who contacted Chuck Grassley said he was behind the 2020 report that the FBI used as part of a scheme to undermine the derogatory information connected to Hunter Biden by falsely suggesting it was disinformation. So he covered up for Hunter. And he went after in the deep state way, Carter Page, trying to pin him for things that he didn't do. If you remember, Carter Page had contacts with the Russians. And he was actually an informant for the FBI that tried to say that he, and then because he was working and advising Trump, they tried to now say that he was the backdoor. Arden's report caused the FBI to cease investigative activity into Hunter Biden, according to a letter Grassley sent to the Justice Department. So is it me, or does it seem like John Durham is going after Autumn of this next? Or maybe he's just going after him right now? Okay, I want to just follow up and end with some PayPal follow-up. PayPal was reportedly bribing $15 with the vouchers to account holders to prevent them from canceling their accounts. So the situation must be pretty bad. So if you missed the report, they were going to start to fine users $2,500 directly from their accounts. If PayPal found them guilty of spreading misinformation, obviously there was backlash for this. And they said, oh, no, it was just misunderstood. We corrected it, or what have you. While people were then and is still trying to cancel their accounts. So following this trend, to boycott PayPal, some users have said they've had a problem closing their accounts. This is why one person commented and said endless hours chatting with the support here. Some people are able to close it in seconds. Other it takes weeks. Criminal. And other set looks like they've disabled account closure over at PayPal to prevent customers exiting their platform. No doubt there'll be the usual corporate speak on temporary technical issues inbound. Do not take the $50 bribe, delete your PayPal account. That's right. PayPal is paying people not to cancel $15 a pop. There must be a lot of cancellations already done and in the queue. Good for good PayPal. It should be absolutely crushed. And this is so bad that even a Democrat and headed government agency is looking into this. This is Rohit Chopra. He is the director of CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And this is what he had to say. And he said this on Squawk Box on CNBC. I've never actually heard of a payment system grant. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau Chief for HC. Chopra is concerned about PayPal and big tech kicking people off their platforms, or finding them for lawful behavior. So this is a transcript. I've never actually heard of payment systems thinking they could find someone for legal expression that their users are making. We have ordered most of the big tech firms and payment companies to provide us with information about how are they making decisions about who they take off their platform, but we also have to look into whether they believe they can be finding uses for illegal activity. So even a guy who's running of the consumer protection under Biden is concerned about this. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. If you're up for it, I'm gonna get back to work. Thanks for watching.